Hello, welcome to Chrysalis Invictus Tarot. Today I have for you a reading of messages from the stars. So what we're looking for here is a zoomed out perspective. We're looking for messages from the universe and from a higher perspective. So what your situation might look like from far away, but also just sort of that wisdom of the universe. Of the astral realms, I guess you could say. But first, I'd like to call in your guides, my guides, any energies or entities that wish to be here with us today. And we ask that you join us and provide us messages that align with our highest good. And so taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing out through the nose, feeling your shoulders relax, feeling yourself grounded and rooted here. And choosing from one of the three piles, we have crystals for each pile. And once you've made your selection, I'll meet you at your reading. Pile number 1, welcome. Okay, so you've selected this this pile, and it actually has 2 crystals. So we're going to leave those here and take a look at them at the end. So we'll start first with the Moonology card. Step out of your comfort zone, North Node. And I knew this was going to come up. The YOD, Destiny. Well, both cards are very much aligned with fate, destiny, your mission here on this planet or in your life. If you're not familiar with your North Node, definitely look that up. So your North Node is the lessons you're moving through in this life, okay? And with destiny here, I feel like what you're experiencing right now is a clash between, or a tension between this sort of longed for destiny and the lessons that you're learning in this life, okay? So with the North Node, there are certain, I want to say experiences. There are certain experiences or relations that you are having in your life at this time that are not feeling so great. There could be a lot of kind of tower moments or things that are feeling really uncomfortable. This could also be being flooded with images or in your dreams or in your visions, in your third eye, that are uncomfortable. Maybe even scary. But it's almost like being on the head of a pin, like you are right at the head of the pin. So that's where it's pointiest. That's like the key point. And so that's where the sharpness and the discomfort comes from. With this Destiny card here, there's what is being exposed is a history of this condition. So like a history of, this could come up from your ancestry or from your personal history or from past lives as well, but it's like layer upon layer of the similar feelings. So it's almost like triggering, or it could be triggering, that's happening right now. Where it's that pinpoint. So it's hitting this like this very specific point in you that is extremely reactive. So like an analogy I might use for this is like if you know someone or you know a person who knows how to push your buttons. That's like a saying that's pretty common. Like this person knows how to push your buttons. And so they hit right at that point. And so one of the things that, maybe a poor kind of advice would be to remove the sensitivity from that point. But you need this sensitivity. This sensitivity is important. The sensitivity is teaching you. So it's not about removing that sensitivity, but of removing access to that sensitivity from not even removing access. It's like strengthening the resolve of that sensitivity. Okay, so that ability to kind of pierce through things, remembering that that is a sharp point, so it can pierce through layers of whatever is coming toward you. I'm really drawn to the fact that there's this dot of light and this dot of light. And that there's something very specific that you are aiming at, and there is something very specific that is then reflecting that is then the trigger for that. So for instance, if you are very specifically, and you know that your path is leading you to, what's an example? If you know your path is leading you to being a mother, okay, let's just say, or being a parent, and you know that needs to be there. The things that you are experiencing and the things that are going to trigger you are things that are very specifically related to that. So you're going to continuously encounter poor examples of being a parent, or poor examples of relations in being a parent, or something like that. And so you're going to continuously have that button pushed. And rather than becoming, so like a victim to that energy, what is being called upon for you here is to fortify that and push through that. So instead of, why do they get to be a parent and I don't? Fortifying that idea, or that solidifying that idea, of concentrating that energy into this pin that's pushing through toward what you are wanting, toward your goals. So you can sit in that place of, I am a good parent, even if you don't have children, and again, this is an example, so use it for whatever your specific trigger is. This is a general reading. So if you are fortifying that you're able to push through this discomfort, but you will be shown layers upon layers of it. And this can actually destabilize you. This can actually make you feel extremely uncomfortable. You may be drawn into wanting to make impulsive decisions, or to reject certain realities and act impulsively or compulsively as well. There could be a lot of compulsion here. But this is the kind of intensity that comes from moving through the lessons of your North Node. Okay, it's really important, I think, for you to know what your North Node is and to look into that. And then also to recognize, like, this almost feels like the South Node, and that there's karma, there's things that have to be released. But rather than focusing on that, I think it's kind of like when you eat food, rather than focusing on how it's digesting, it's focusing on how to continuously move forward in space. So maybe how you then use that energy, as opposed to what that energy is doing what it's doing in your body and how it's moving through your body. You let your body do the work that it knows how to do, and you do the work that you know how to do, which is to use that energy. Okay, so let's see what we have next. We have nothing will come of this situation. Void of course moon. Okay, so there's a more specific message that's coming in right now. I don't know why I looked at that. There's a more specific message that's coming in right now about, so this is reflecting back on what I was saying about nothing is coming from the situation. So if you're reflecting on something, or if you are dwelling on something, nothing is coming of that situation. And if we take this zoomed out perspective, you are bound to break a pattern more with unpredictability than predictability. So when the compulsion thing is coming up, or the obsessive thoughts, or the repetitive thoughts, and I feel like this is about whatever is triggering you and whatever keeps coming up as a theme. So this feeling of, for some of you, I'm getting lack. For some of you, I'm getting, it just depends on what it is for you. It's like, so much lack. So we're going to stick with lack. The way to break free of this pattern is to be unpredictable, is to invite in a thought that doesn't fit with all the other thoughts that have come before it, right? So if you are, it's like almost going off the radar a bit. It may seem like acting out of character. But that's a way to break out of this, because this almost feels like destiny as a curse, like fate as a curse, like I am resigned to this fate. And that could be the compulsive thought, that could be the repetitive thought, that I am resigned to this fate. But here you're reminded that if you are able to move in some sort of unpredictable way, that reflective energy is going to come back into your world. I don't think I talked about the reflective energy. The reflective light. You'll start to see this pinhead growing and growing and growing in strength and in light, and there is your destiny. There is the thing that you are looking for, or the thing that you are aiming for. It grows at the head of the pin when you expand that world and you create that strength around it. And then Gemini, I think. Okay, with Gemini, I feel like this is deeply connected to some kind of partnership, could be romantic, but there's also this kind of like mirroring aspect to Gemini, that you see what you want mirrored in others, but in the comparison of self to others, or in the repetitive thought of connecting yourself to others and to their experience, there's this blockage that occurs. It malforms your intuitive sensibilities and your ability to communicate, and destabilizes you at the root. Okay, so with Gemini, this could again indicate like being of not only thinking too much in this raw kind of sore energy, like being stuck in those repetitive thoughts. It's interesting that this comes up, but that there is there's also this mirroring that's happening. So if you are sending out a sharp energy, if you return like that triggering for a triggering, then that is just going to, it's like an echo chamber that just keeps coming back and forth. The boundaries of Gemini are in the space between these two entities, right? And they are operating not always oppositionally, okay? Like that can be a way of misconstruing Gemini energy, I think, is that they are opposites, but there are definitely two very different kind of like personalities working themselves out here. But it's important to remember that they are different, right? And that they are two different forces. And so that space between them can be tense, or it can be sort of harmonious. And so in that, again, when we use that example of comparing yourself to someone else, if you are going to enter into that space of comparison, comparing yourself from a place of, this person is showing me and teaching me what my values are. I am learning from this situation how strong my desire is. You know, that like kind of reframing the way that you look at these things. There's also something here, Gemini is saying to bury the lead in a certain situation. So there could be certain situations where you are not meant to really share what is going on, or it could be, yeah, like not giving away your thoughts too easily. For some of you, I'm very much feeling that you are dealing with a Gemini and this situation is going nowhere. But the situation is in your life and it was destined to happen because you are meant to learn how to strengthen your resolve. You're meant to learn how to strengthen something. So when you look at a person, you say, I wouldn't do that. Of course you wouldn't do that. But you are meant to understand and experience someone who would do that. Right? Okay, let's take a look at your crystal wisdom cards. So you have Ruby. It's time for me to shine. Yeah, and have this expand. So you see, with each card, we saw this light get bigger and brighter. And then you have Selenite. Spiritual awakening. I am a spiritual warrior of the light. Interesting that both have to do with light. Some of you may be too attached to what your destiny actually is or what your fate is and trying to figure out what that is. So if you aren't quite sure what that is, an over-attachment to trying to figure that out can be dampening this light, okay? It can be, it's almost like the light recedes the more you chase it in that situation because you're chasing it through something rational or through something from an unstable foundation. Whatever is happening, whatever your specific situation, this is an uncomfortable situation, okay? This is a situation where nothing's going to come from it. It's uncomfortable. It feels destabilizing. It feels, but all of it is in service of building this light, of allowing you to shine. Because as that I'm going to use that pin again, it's almost like you're strengthening it so that it can push through the fabric of some kind of layer that has been holding you back, some kind of like lid or roof or a fabric, you know, like something that has been containing you. This pin is going to push through that, and then the light comes in. Okay, so this is what I have for you, pile number 1. It was certainly different. If you'd like to book a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Pile number 2, let's see what your messages from the stars are. So we're going to take a look at this card at the end. We have show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. Interesting. We have a full moon in Aquarius coming up when I'm filming this very soon. So this could be something that is really, really relevant to right now in your life. So definitely themes of self-expression. There's something about emotional outpouring, or the way that you process emotions, or the way that you demonstrate emotions, your relationship to your emotions is actually something that could be really inspiring to people. So I'm getting that. I feel drawn to pull all of your cards out. I have air element communicating. Yeah, I feel that there's a message here that you are meant to share with others, okay? So there's a way that you communicate. There's a way that this could be you singing, but I feel that this is humanity in general is wanting to receive your gifts. So putting yourself into a larger platform, amplifying yourself. I feel that you receive visions of this. So you may see yourself on a stage. You may see yourself in these contexts where there are a lot of different people receiving these messages or seeing these messages. This could be being on YouTube. This could be being on TV. This could be, some kind of large platform where you are reaching, your voice is amplified by something bigger than yourself, and you are reaching a lot of people. You have, the new moon in Cancer, which just happened. We just had the new moon in Cancer. This is very current, like to when I'm filming this. I mean, it's a timeless reading. So this is July. Like, these are the 2 moons that are happening in July. So with the new moon, you and your loved ones are safe. This is an issue of privacy. Okay, so you may be feeling hesitant to share your message, or hesitant to share yourself because you're afraid you're a private person and you want to maintain that privacy. But you are reminded, especially with Aquarius energy, that you can amplify your message, and you can share the ways that you process your messages without people accessing the heart of everything. You and your family can be safe. You and your story can be safe and protected. That I think that there's this fear, or there's this feeling of people like pulling at you, or misunderstanding your story. But remember that you are able to construct it in a certain way that it's more like it's exemplifying how to do things for people than giving people access to the specifics of your situation. Okay, so there's still a way to maintain privacy within this situation. There could also be, for some of you, without the amplification aspect, there is a message here about a situation where someone is disparaging your family or saying something about you or your loved ones. And this is saying that you have the power to effectively communicate in this situation to keep your family safe. So if you are afraid that you do not have access to the words or the information that you need to protect your family, you absolutely do. Okay, and then we have Grand Trine blessings. I feel that for some of you, you may have psychic gifts or abilities, and whatever your gifts or abilities are, so there is a strong indication here that we have singers, but we also have communicators, people who are effective communicators, and that you are able to effectively communicate emotions or how to manage emotions. You may be in the field of psychology or in some kind of field in spirituality where you have really strong and receive really strong insights about how people can process and move through their emotions. So this is something that came really easily to you. This is something that comes really easily to you. If you are someone who is out there kind of wondering, what are my spiritual gifts? I just released a video on spiritual gifts, so you can go, spiritual and magical gifts, so you can go check that out. But this is more about this gift or ability that has been given to you came to you easily. Or this ability to understand emotions maybe has come to you easily. So you may not look at it as something unique or interesting or different. So you may not understand why people would want to have access to this information, or, you know, that it's even a gift. That this is something that it's divinely aligned. So you have really, really strong support in this. Cosmically, energetically, there is so much strong support here. And with these, you know, with Aquarius and Cancer being in the month of July, this feels like whatever happens quickly. It happens within a cycle from full to new moon. So not even a full moon cycle back to a full moon. It happens within a half moon cycle. So this is something that once you decide to put your energy behind it, once you decide to open yourself up to it, it moves very quickly. But part of the issue with a grand trine, blessings, is that because it's so easy for you, or because it comes easily to you, it's hard to identify. It's hard to identify that it's a blessing or a gift. But there is this call here to really recognize these blessings and gifts. So one of the things that you may be experiencing at this time is that people are like coming to you with their emotional issues. People come to you, or they share certain things, or they say to you, I'm inspired by how you do this. I'm inspired by how you communicate this. With Cancer is, it's a water sign. It's an emotional sign. Cancer has this protective shell around it. And so this is where you want to keep that safety, and you're afraid to kind of be too vulnerable. But Cancer within you is the ability to protect what is most vulnerable. Okay, so that is at the core of this message. You are able to communicate and still protect that core gooiness, that really soft, gooey center. A lot of times Cancers they don't really want to give off that they have that. It comes out naturally in their sweetness and particularly nurturing, but there's still like a soft, gooey center that pretty much no one can reach except for them and maybe their children. Okay, so remember that you are able to protect yourself, and you can also work with the cycle of the new moon to maintain that safety and to maintain that protection if you feel you need extra layers of it. And so it's all in how you construct this communication. And you will naturally, because you have this natural gift and ability, you will naturally pull through what you need to pull through. I do feel like a lot has to do with visualizing. So if this is you opening up to an amplification platform and spreading your message more broadly, I would encourage you to go into your third eye and visualize it all beforehand, so that you can, any situation, you just kind of visualize to take away because I'm feeling in the chest, I'm feeling this tightness. Okay, so you want to sit there and just like open up your heart and just know that you are safe to do so, that it is needed for you. And in fact, this could create issues. You may have feelings of choking, or you may have feelings of tightness in the throat already on a regular basis. You may suffer from a sore throat quite a bit because you are meant to be channeling this information through and out. Okay, you're meant to be allowing this to come out and sharing these gifts. And here with the communication, this feels like it's coming in through the crown, and in through the crown, it goes through the third eye and out through the throat, or out through the vocal cords. Don't be afraid to share emotions. You have a gift here. So we have red tourmaline, passion. I am the embodiment of passion. The embodiment is key here. Okay, so whether it is passion is the emotion, whatever the emotion is that you are, you're like an expert in this emotion, whether you know it or not. It's because you felt it a lot. So this could be something that is more of the shadows. This could be something that you may associate with darkness, or that you may try to hide. But this is in fact something that people they almost need you as a guide, because you are able to embody this this way through this emotion. You're able to guide people through this emotion. And there's a lot of blessings that are coming in through this, you connecting with your passion. Once you feel that safety, and once you feel that you are able to express the real you, there are so many blessings coming in for you. There's blessings of abundance, there's blessings of in relationships, there's blessings. It's just such a beautiful energy that's created here. Okay, so that's what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope this was illuminating, interesting, whatever you wanted it to be. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading or work with me, my information is in the description box below. Take care. Pile number 3, if you chose pile number 3, this is your readings. We're going to take a look at the Crystal Wisdom card at the end. Usually it has an affirmation, or it does have affirmations. So we'll take a look at that. First, we have a new start is coming, new moon. I'm hearing that something has blessed you in darkness. Something has blessed you in the absence of light. So this is almost what I'm seeing here is like when you go through like a train tunnel or a car tunnel and you can't see anything. And it's almost like you go through that tunnel and then you come out the other side, and then like sitting right next to you is that like that gift. And for you, that gift is a new beginning or new starts. Okay, and we have 8th house, endings and beginnings. Okay. Yeah, you maybe in the tunnel, some people call it a bottleneck. Some people refer to this like it's kind of like a birth canal. I'm going to pull all of your cards and then read them together. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. Full moon in Taurus. Okay. And void of course moon missing. Okay, so what is happening here is that if we're taking a zoomed out perspective, there's a lot of Scorpio energy here. Okay, even in that the full moon in Taurus happens in Scorpio season. So this could be, Scorpio season is the end of October through to the, late November. And Scorpio, the 8th house, I feel like this is not a gentle, it's not a gentle ending and beginning, in the sense that the more cycles, life and death cycles you participate in, the more you cannot see what is ahead of you. So the tunnels seem to become longer in these processes. So like almost like the labor takes longer. It takes longer for you to get out into into the world, which is interesting because usually as you go through, these things become shorter. But this is a call to ground in something. Hold on, I'm just tuning into these energies. It's feeling really weird. Okay, so yeah, so there's something, it's very interesting. It's like there's so much like positivity and good energy around this dark space. There's so much that is growing in your life. There's so much that is blossoming. There's this brightness, this lightness as you move through different lessons. You know, I'm not pulling these cards for someone who hasn't experienced a death cycle. So if you don't know what a death cycle is, it's kind of like where it's an ego death. So this could be something that comes into your life that really humbles you, and then you kind of reboot and reset and regrow from there. And with life and death cycles in our lives, we we go through this period where we kind of become old and things become stagnant, and then you feel uncomfortable and you kind of die. And then the birth process, I feel like you are in a birth process right now when you're watching this, or very nearly close to it. So you may be just dying or in that transition space. And I know it's weird to talk about, but it's like these deaths represent endings, like strong endings in your life of certain things, endings of chapters, endings of stories, endings of relationships, endings of the way that you see things, different perspectives, right? So it's always kind of like humbling you. There's so much growing around these dark spaces, but there's still this sort of consistent dark space that you cannot see. Like there's still this point that you cannot see. And I feel like you have been trying to plan for a thing you cannot see. And this could be because you have Taurus energy, or because you have some sort of earth energy that you are wanting to know the details before they're there. Okay, so this is like overcompensating for, you can see how this, like these colors and everything are in the moon, and here they're outside of them. It's almost like you're overcompensating for the for this dark space by filling it with different colors, by filling it with plans. And it's like each time the universe kind of laughs at your plans because, hold on, it's loud. It's because you cannot plan for what you cannot see, right? You can't make a plan for, you can't put down concrete roots for something that is missing. You know, and this is something that kind of goes off axis. So there's some aspect of, there's some kind of road or path that you're walking down where there's nothing there for you. But you're doing it because your dreams need a practical plan, right? Which is great advice sometimes for some people in some situations, but not for you necessarily. There isn't really, I would say that if you need to put energy into something materially, it's into building skills, okay? So if you're randomly drawn to like learning how to knit, you throw yourself into learning how to knit. Randomly building. For some of you, I'm hearing smithing. Okay, so that's really specific, but forming things and forging things in fire. So it could be welding as well, I guess, like working with metals. Anyway, so how interesting. Okay. So if you are in need of something to ground in, you can ground in that. The other thing that you can ground in is your body. Okay, so making your body a better, sharper, clearer vessel for this new beginning. Okay, because I feel like what's coming in this new beginning is something that you cannot see. It's something that I will not be able to see. It's something that no reader is going to be able to say, hey, this is what you is coming for you. It is purposefully veiled for some reason. Okay, it is concealed because there's so much energy behind it and there's so much involved in it that to even like leak a piece of the secret would throw you off course. So it's almost like if you could see the path in front of you, you wouldn't choose it. But it's the path that you most desire and it's the path that you most want. Okay? So you can't make plans for this path you cannot see. But you can lean into this death and rebirth cycle and honoring those new beginnings. So one of the things that when you're dying, you need comfort. You need, usually we like to go inward and be alone and it's a time of wisdom. So maybe surrendering into like philosophy and things of that nature. And then when you're new, you need to be sheltered. You need to be, again, it's in the height of a death and rebirth and a beginning or an ending and a beginning. You want to be kind of more alone or only around people that can honor and nurture you. If you think of like an older person and a baby, like they need more care. Okay. And so giving yourself that care, putting the material energy into caring for your body, into caring for your mind, into caring for your spirit, and what you're honoring your needs, listening to your needs. That is going to be the key. So how you move through these endings and beginnings is the key. Okay, so you may start to notice a pattern develop, like there's certain things that keep ending, and instead of saying, what's wrong with me, or like, how can I pull back the thing that just ended, allowing it to go and observing yourself in that situation. What weight was lifted? What is missing? Is there some way that you can cultivate that in yourself or find a healthier relationship to it? Okay, so like there's, these endings and beginnings often happen at a more rapid pace as you start to, so there's like, awakening, spiritual awakening. People talk about that. There's spiritual awakening, and then there's like, as you continue along with your spiritual path and you become more aware of these subtle energies and you become more aware of the cycles in life, these cycles may start to become more rapid. So you may start to go through that, or you may experience that you have death season. Okay, so death season would be where a lot of things fall away. Maybe your death season aligns with Scorpio season. Maybe it happens in the fall when it's happening in nature in the northern hemisphere, or in the I guess it's fall on both sides, but you know what I mean. Like maybe it's happening if you're in the southern hemisphere in your autumn period, which is more like the spring here. Anyway, so you may notice that it goes with certain cycles, and that would be something to pay attention to. But if you're in like a death season, recognizing, okay, I'm going to have to let things fall away. I'm going to have to let go of things. And then once you know that you're letting go of those things, letting go with love, letting go of control. This is a lot to do with letting go of control and embracing what is missing, and embracing the paradox, embracing the void. Or this period where you may not be able to track things. Things may not seem traceable, or the trajectory may not seemingly make sense. It doesn't need to make sense, but you do need to be a good vessel, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's take a look at your crystal wisdom card. So you have ametrine, intuition. I am fully aligned with my intuition. I trust this powerful wisdom to guide me. Yeah, this is releasing and surrendering to these powerful energies that are, here we have your ancestry as well. There's a strong indication of a connection to the earth, with the earth energy, and with the, with this here. So it could be that you are, someone who has had to do a lot of shadow work, or that you are moving through shadow work, or you're being called to shadow work. So working through your past, maybe you're working through your ancestry. And as you work through those things, the other part of that is that your intuition becomes sharper. And so you're better able to release yourself to the guidance that is around you. Okay, so that's the messages that I have for you today. If you'd like to book a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I love to hear from you, and we'll see you soon. Take care.